Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. It is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021, and it is 5:50 p.m. I will read the COVID statement into the record. This is a hybrid CRA meeting which allows for the public to participate by calling in, Cisco WebEx, or physically appearing. Please note that due to COVID-19, there will be limited occupancy available in the council chambers. Face coverings must be worn by attendees at all times. In addition, the public will be subject to temperature checks and COVID screenings will be required. The meeting can be viewed live on the City Access channel or City website at cityofhomestead.com. The City will be accepting public comments as part of the meeting, which can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. Comments on a specific agenda item can be submitted by noon Monday, April 12th, 2021, and will be included in the minutes. Other public comments should include your name, address, and your comment, and can be submitted up until 30 minutes after the end of the CRA meeting and will be included in the minutes. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Fletcher.
Present.
Board Member Avila.
Here.
Board Member Roth.
Here.
Board Member Bailey.
Here.
Board Member Shelley. Vice Chairwoman Faircloth Staggers.
Here.
Chairman Losner.
Here. Are there any deletions or deferrals? No deletions or deferrals. Next item, tab 1, is the approval of the March 9th, 2021 CRA Board Meeting Minutes. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
Move it.
Moved by Board Member Roth. Second by Board Member Fletcher. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? None. Next item is new business. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Tab 2 is a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of Commercial Enhancement Grant Program funds, approving a grant agreement, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The grant, excuse me, the CRA Commercial Enhancement Grant Program furthers the goals of the CRA plan by improving property that will enhance the CRA's rebuilding program. Paper Champion LLC is located in, Paper Champion LLC is the owner of the building located at 140 North Chrome Avenue in Homestead. They have applied for a commercial enhancement grant for the amount to not exceed $25,000 to make improvements to the exterior of their storefront, including impact windows, exterior paint, and stucco repair enhancements. Because they are located in the downtown district, this qualifies them for a 10% match. So our grant will cover 90% of the cost, and they will match it up to 10%. Staff recommends that the board approve the Commercial Enhancement Grant Award for Paper Champion LLC for an amount not to exceed the maximum allowable of $25,000. The applicant is on the line if we have any questions for them.
Thank you, Ms. Driver. Are there any initial questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the board? Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Would the applicant like to add anything for the record?
We really appreciate you considering us, and we really appreciate the grant. We are ready to comply with whatever's necessary, and we're here if you have any questions.
Thank you. Just so we've got it for the record, please give us your name and address.
My name is Andres Carmio. My address is 861 Southeast 13th Road. That's in Homestead, Florida, 33035.
Thank you. I have a comment, and that's first, thank you for investing in our downtown. And second, how soon do you anticipate doing the renovation work?
We were waiting to hear back from you guys, but we're already we're on it. We're interested in moving forward.
Thank you. Again, appreciate it, and best wishes and good luck for your venture. Is there anyone online or in the audience who wishes to speak on this matter?
None online, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right. I'll close the public hearing then and entertain a motion for approval of car number 3134.
Move it.
No, okay. It's not 3134, is it? Yeah. Okay. 3133, Paper Champion LLC. Do we have a motion for approval?
Move it.
We have motion by Board Member Bailey, seconded by Board Member Roth. Are there any further comments or questions from the board? All right. None appearing then. Do we have a roll call vote?
Board Member Fletcher,
Yes.
Board Member Shelley,
Yes.
Board Member Roth, Board Member Avila, Board Member Bailey,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Faircloth Staggers,
Yes.
Chairman Losner.
Yes, thank you.
The motion carries.
Hey, Mr. Pearl, tab 3.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, tab 3 is also a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of Commercial Enhancement Grant Program funds, approving grant agreement, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Ms. Driver?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff recommends the CRA Board approve a commercial enhancement grant award for El Toro Taco Properties, Inc., for an amount not to exceed the maximum allowable of $25,000. El Toro Tacos is located at 1 South Chrome Avenue in Homestead in the downtown district and makes them eligible for a 90% contribution by the CRA, 10% contribution by the applicant. The grant will cover interior improvements for the renovation of a tenant space where they are seeking to construct 2 ADA handicap accessible bathrooms. Staff recommends approval of this application, and the applicant is here in the room if, all of them here, okay, you guys are separated. So they are here if you have any questions for them.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Any initial questions or comments from the board? Okay. Is there anyone online wishing to speak on this matter?
Oh, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Members of the Hernandez family are here. You're all well known, I think, to most of us. Would you like to add anything to the presentation? No, you don't have to.
Amy.
Okay. If you want to go on down to the podium and give us your name and address for the record.
Hello.
My name is Emma Hernandez. Family owns El Toro Taco Properties, where we are seeking the grant. That's, of course, the building does need to be upgraded in the handicap restrooms, and this will help us. And we would appreciate the approval. I mean, it'll help us move forward. And we're ready to move forward on the project.
Very good. And we are, I think I speak for all of us when I say we're ready for that corner to be
Yes.
vibrant again, as it was for so many decades
Yes.
under your family. Same use, different?
Yes,
Very good.
that's what we're hoping for, yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it.
Anything, any more questions? No.
Thank
Any
you, Amy.
questions from the board? No? Okay, thank you.
One quick
All right.
comment. I think it was probably 20 years ago when I first moved to Florida from graduating in high school, that my parents' best friends took us to Toro Taco, and that was my first experience of Homestead. So
Oh.
it'd be wonderful to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if we're going to do that. Here's my factoid. That's where I had lunch on the Friday before Hurricane Andrew.
Oh, wow.
Little did I know it would be a very long time before I ever got to go out to eat again. It just happenstance that I met a friend there that afternoon. Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, so if no further comments, we'll close the public hearing. And I'll entertain a motion to approve this request, the enhancement grant, car number 3134 to El Toro Taco Properties, Inc.
Move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Avila.
Second.
Board Member Bailey?
Yes.
Board Member Roth?
Yes.
Board Member Shelley?
Yes.
Board Member Avila?
Yes.
Board Member Fletcher?
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Fairclough Staggers?
yes,
Chairman Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Hey, thank you. Next item, tab 4, Mr. Pearl.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, tab 4 is a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of Commercial Enhancement Grant Program funds, approving a grant agreement, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Ms. Driver?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Escape Bakery Bar and Restaurant LLC, a new business, will be located at 131 North Chrome Avenue in Homestead in the downtown district. They are eligible for 90% contribution by the CRA, 10% contribution by the applicant. They are asking for a grant to cover interior renovation improvements for the building. Staff recommends the CRA Board approve a commercial enhancement grant award for Escape Bakery Bar and Restaurant LLC for an amount not to exceed the maximum allowable of $25,000. The applicant is not here and they are not on the line. They confirmed yesterday that they would be in attendance, but they're not.
Thank you. All right. Are there any initial questions or comments from the board?
Mayor, if I may?
Board member?
I have reviewed this application and I have spoken to the applicant. So although they're not here, I do have some detail about the project. And it used to be a furniture store, and there's a lot of work to be done inside. And I know that they have also gone through the gauntlet with development services to try to get utilities on and getting things in order to even get it to the position of being able to be rented. So although they're not present, I would hope that it doesn't weigh against the decision tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone online or in the audience wishing to speak on this application?
None online, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. None appearing. I'll close the public hearing then and entertain a motion for approval of car number
move it.
3135, the Commercial Enhancement Grant Award to Escape Bakery, Bar, and Restaurant, LLC.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Bailey.
Second.
Second by Board Member Avila. Any final comments from the board? The only thing I want to add for the public is that with respect to this and the other two, there are safeguards in place that these property owners aren't going to take our city money, upgrade their buildings, and sell and put that money in their pocket. There is is it a 10-year?
2 years.
2-year period wherein if under certain circumstances, the use of the ownership changes hands, that the city has security in place to pull back these monies so that they can in turn be re-granted for other projects.
That's correct, Mr. Chair. And may I add also that is on a reimbursement. So they get the money after the job is complete. So we make sure that the job is done before we actually turn over money to them. So that's an additional safeguard that we have.
Very good. Thank you for adding that. I appreciate that. All right. I think we have a motion and a second on the floor for approval. I'll have a roll call vote.
Board Member Roth?
Yes.
Board Member Shelley? Board Member Shelley?
Yes.
Board Member Fletcher?
Yes.
Board Member Avila?
Yes.
Board Member Bailey?
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Fairclough Staggers?
yes,
Chairman Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I believe that concludes the CRA business for tonight. Anything further, Madam Manager, on the CRA agenda?
That concludes it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank
Mr. Mayor,
you. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the CRA meeting.
one
Board Member
question.
Fletcher.
One question, thank you, sir. More of a housekeeping item, but I don't know how much of this package goes out to the public. You know, there's a lot of personal identifying information in here with check numbers and addresses. If we do put this out, do we redact that information or?
Yes, sir, we will.
Okay, yeah, because it's all, you know, legible to us. I just want to make sure it doesn't get out.
Yes, sir, we will.
Okay, thank you.
It is unredacted in our packages, yes. All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Nobody, all right. CRA meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, are we ready?
Just
Is
a
that-
minute, Mr. Mayor.
Is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Ready?
Very good. Good evening, everyone. I'll call the City of Homestead Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. It is approximately 6:07 p.m. I'll read the COVID-19 statement into the record. This is a hybrid meeting which allows for the public to participate by calling in through Cisco WebEx or physically appearing. Please note that due to COVID-19, there will be limited occupancy available in the council chambers. Face coverings must be worn by attendees at all times. In addition, the public will be subject to temperature checks and COVID screenings will be required. This meeting can also be viewed live on the City Access channel or city website at cityofhomestead.com. The city will be accepting public comments as part of the meeting, which comments can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments are limited to 300 words per comment. Public comments on specific agenda items can be submitted by noon Monday, April 12, 2021, and will be included in the minutes. All public comments should include your name and address and limited to 300 words. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Shelley,
Here.
Councilwoman Bailey,
Here.
Councilwoman Avila, Councilman Fletcher,
Here.
Councilman Roth, Vice Mayor Fairclough Staggers,
Present.
Mayor Losner.
I'm here. Thank you. Madam Manager, are there any additions, deletions, and/or deferrals?
No, Mr. Mayor, there are not.
Thank you. Our first item of business is tab 1, approval of the March 9th, 2021 Committee of the Whole minutes. Now I'll entertain a motion for approval of those March 9th, 2021 Committee of the Whole minutes.
Move it.
Moved by Councilman Ross, seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next item, tab 2, is a motion to place car number 3140 on the council agenda, the statewide mutual aid agreement. Is that you, Madam Manager?
Yes, it is. Thank you, Mayor. The Emergency Management Act, Chapter 252, provides each local government of the state the authority to develop and enter into mutual aid agreements with the state for reciprocal emergency aid and assistance in case of emergencies too extensive to be dealt with unassisted, and through such agreements to ensure the timely reimbursement of costs incurred by the local governments which render such assistance. We've had an agreement in place for years, but as our emergency manager, Steve Taylor, was updating the city's comprehensive emergency management plan, he was advised by the county that though we have an agreement in place, it was recommended that it be updated to the 2018 version of the agreement, which is what is attached to this item. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to execute the attached mutual aid agreement with the State of Florida Division of Emergency Management.
Thank you. Any initial questions or comments from council? Okay. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this matter?
None online.
None appearing. I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to place car number 3140 on the council agenda, the statewide mutual aid agreement.
Move approval.
Moved by Councilman Fletcher,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Avila. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next item is motion to place car number 3150 on the council agenda, settlement of all claims of Angel Miranda. Is that you, Mr. Pearl?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. On September 2nd, 2020, Mr. Miranda injured his back while digging out a water meter and suffered an injury by accident as defined under the Florida Workers' Compensation Act. Mr. Miranda and the city would now like to compromise all claims arising from the accident on a lump sum basis for a total amount of $58,000. The settlement would include a release for all liability or potential liability from the city and would extinguish all claims.
Okay. Thank you. Questions or comments from council? Any public comment?
None,
No.
Mr. Mayor.
Not appearing. I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to place car number 3150 on the council agenda, the settlement of all claims of Angel Miranda. Moved by Councilman Avila, second by Councilman Fletcher. All in favor? Any nays? All right. Next item, tab 4. Motion to place car number 3139 on the council agenda, request for waiver of usage fees. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Consulate General of Mexico in Miami is hosting a Children's Day Fair in Homestead. This event is free and open to the public and dedicated to bringing forth community and health to all in the city of Homestead by providing complimentary services, including a mobile pediatric unit, various health, education, and financial workshops, as well as food, toy, and book distributions. The Consulate General of Mexico in Miami is requesting that Mayor and Council authorize the city manager to approve a waiver of usage fees in the amount of $600 for the use of 2 soccer fields at Harris Field on April 24th, 2021, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. According to the city's code, Chapter 20, Section 20-11, fees and charges, the city council sets fees and has the right to waive parks and recreation fees by majority vote.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I've been working with this group to arrange this to come to the city. I asked them to come before us to ask for a waiver. I've committed to paying the fees that are involved and would ask that any of the council members here, if you'd like to participate and help along with those fees, to kindly instruct your assistants to divvy up, and we'll equally share a portion of the fee to have this event go on. It's a free event. I think they expect about 400 people to be at the event. And originally we didn't have the soccer fields at Harris Field, but scheduling worked out where we were able to arrange it. So that's my part of it, and I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Further? All right. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this matter? We'll open the public hearing. Not appearing. I'll
good
close
evening.
the
I'm not sure
public
if you can
hearing.
hear me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Hi, good evening, Mayor Losner and esteemed members of council. Just wanted to share my thanks on behalf of Consul General Chait for the council support on this measure to have the event be a success April 24th, and just want to extend an invitation to everybody on the council and anybody listening as well. It's going to be a very successful event with your support.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for appearing on behalf of the Council General tonight. Were there's
Thank you.
Any further? Nothing further online? Okay.
Nothing further.
All right. We'll entertain a closed public hearing and entertain a motion to place car number 3139 on the council agenda, a request for waiver of usage fees.
Say one thing, I don't, in the past, we haven't had to do this. Staff will come back and ask each of the council members how much they want to contribute to it. We don't have to make it an item to vote on at the next meeting. So this is a request for waiver of fees, if we put this through, that's exactly what they're going to receive, I think. And I think we tried to get out of the habit of waiving fees and having them come and pitch us, and we would do our part to contribute to the event if we felt it was an event that the city wanted. In this case, I think this is an event we would like, and so I don't know how that works, and somebody maybe can help us out with that. Do we leave this in and go to council with it, or?
I believe that subsequent to the meeting, if it's, as you suggested, Councilman, that you would contribute toward it, then other council members can do so as well. They don't have to do it here, but they can do it subsequent to the meeting.
Correct. So does this move on to the next meeting, or should this not go to the next meeting?
No, I think that, well, the council can agree right now if they're willing to contribute to it and/or do the waiver of usage. But as you suggested, what has often happened in the past, the council would contribute toward the dollars, which in this case is 600.
Right, so I'm still not, if we put this through, it gets waived. Is that right?
That's correct, yes. I'm sorry, yes, that's correct.
Okay, and if that's the will of the council, that's what we can do. I don't have
Yes,
a
sir.
problem with that too.
Yes.
But in the past, we tried to refrain from waiving fees and have them come and talk to us and work with us. And if we felt it was a thing that the group wanted to do together, whether all of us did it or some of us did it, that's how we handle that situation. So it's up, whatever you all want to do is fine with me. You want to push it through as a waiver, we do that. If we don't, I think we pull this from this packet, and it'll get settled amongst our assistants and whoever wants to contribute.
That's exactly right. It can be one or the other.
It's one way or the other, so I guess
Right.
we will need to poll council. Councilman Fletcher?
I mean, that was my question exactly. I mean, if we're waiving the fees tonight, it's already done, it's taken care of. If not, then we have to go the other route. It's going to be taken care of one way or the other. So I say we move forward with this motion, and we can utilize that fund for other items if we need to assist others in the future.
I didn't quite hear what he said, but I think he said, let's push this through.
Yeah,
and
I'm
we can
sorry.
let our funds help other people. Is that
I got to
correct?
get used to these microphones again. So, yeah, really, basically, let's move forward with this, and we can use those funds for other needy events in the
That's
future.
fine with me.
And this is a significant event
Yeah.
for the benefit of a large part of our community, so, I know there are differences of opinion and different angles, but, let's go forward with the waiver.
Got it. Good to me.
Oh, did we have a motion in a second?
Move it.
All right, moved by Councilman Roth,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Avila. All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item is a motion to place car number 2795 on the council agenda. CIP number 2006, laptop computer replacement. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. The Homestead Police Department uses the Panasonic Toughbook series laptops as part of their mobile hardware solution for report writing, record queries, and mobile data terminals. These laptops are replaced every 5 years when they reach end of service covered warranty and funding is available. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase 22 laptop computers for the Homestead Police Department from CDW Government, Inc. in the amount of $67,628. The purchase is in accordance with Florida Panasonic NVP Computer Equipment MNWNC-124-43211-500-WSCA-15-ACS. This project is part of the city's capital improvement plan, CIP number 2006, and the purchase will be funded by existing forfeiture funds.
Thank you. Any initial questions or comments from council? No questions? Okay. Open the public hearing. Is there anyone online or in the audience wishing to speak on this matter?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right. We'll close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion to place car number 2795 on the council agenda, CIP number 2006, laptop computer replacement. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move it with a question.
Move with a question by Councilman Fletcher. Let's get a second. Second by Councilman Roth. Councilman Fletcher.
Yes, thank you. Madam Manager, this is 22 laptops for this year. Do we have a forecast on what the out years are going to be for replacement? And will this include any of the new computers for the new officers that we are planning on putting on soon?
Councilman, I know that PD's on the line. I will defer to them to answer the question.
Councilman Fletcher, City Manager, Mr. Mayor, in response to that question, this got me the laptops, we're going to be replacing them as we get new cars. That's the current plan. Normally, we replace all of our laptops, usually every 5 years. This is, we're in the 7th year without replacing the laptops. And the laptops are currently all out of warranty. So as many laptops as we can get in the coming years, it would be greatly appreciated, but we'll have to see how things go, obviously. But we'll submit whatever we can to you in the future and make sure that the new officers coming in are also supplied with laptops as well. We're making this request as it comes along.
Thank you. You got your...
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, Mr. Mayor. Motion stands.
Sorry. We do have a motion and a second. I have a question though, Madam Manager. What do we do with the spent laptops?
Captain DeJean, can you answer that, please?
Normally, I guess over time, they would end up going to procurement. As of right now, the spare laptops will actually be put to use, or the ones that we're replacing. We would still utilize them as spares until we can adequately build up our supply. We were at critical low points right now and having spare laptops. So we'll take the best ones that we've got and make sure that we keep them back for any additional needs. We can issue some out to detectives so they can be worked in the field, because right now they don't have laptops that they're working in the field. They just have to go back to the station and utilize their desktop computer. So, for right now, we're going to keep as many as we can.
Okay, thank you. A little bit hard to hear, but what I got out of that is that the best ones are recycled back into other uses in the department. And the reason I ask that, I know these on a unit basis are very expensive, and it was explained to me in the last procurement cycle that not only are they hardened on the outside, they're hardened on the inside. And I was just curious that they would seem to have potential use out in the community somehow, but that question was answered. Okay. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor? Any nays? Okay. Next item is tab 7. Motion to, no, we've got tab 6 is the motion to place car number 3123 on the council agenda, CIP number 2222, ancillary building high density storage. Madam Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Homestead Police Department Property Division handles all property and evidence that is impounded by the department's sworn personnel. This property consists of items such as narcotics, firearms, bicycles, miscellaneous property, etc. The department wishes to purchase the high-density storage equipment to outfit its ancillary building, providing for increased storage capacity and security. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase high-density storage for the Homestead Police Department from Office Depot for a total of $47,000.81. This purchase is in accordance with the State of Florida contract number 561-20000-19-ACS. This project is part of the city's capital improvement plan, CIP 2222, and will be funded by impact fees.
Thank you. Any initial questions or comments from council?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Fletcher, Councilman Fletcher.
Yeah, thank you. One question, Captain DeJean. This equipment, is it pretty hardened? Typically, the items you can purchase at Home Depot tend to be a little less ruggedized compared to items from like Uline or one of the major brands online that you can purchase from, Global Industrial. Are these the exact units that we need and what we want, or are we going with a lesser, more available type item at this point?
Councilman Fletcher, Mr. Mayor, and council members, this is Scott Rodriguez. This is the one that we want, and it has the features as the one that we currently have with the locking mechanism for the property owner.
Okay, thank you, Captain Rodriguez.
Thank you. Any further questions from council? Is there anyone wishing to speak on this matter? Close the public hearing and entertain a motion to place car number 3123 on the council agenda, CIP number 2222, ancillary building, high-density storage. Moved by Councilwoman Bailey. Second by Councilman Roth. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, tab 7. Motion to place car number 3128 on the council agenda. CIP number 2234, purchase of two body camera unit vehicles. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase 2 new patrol vehicles for the Homestead Police Department from Allen J. Fleet Sales with related vehicle equipment from Spartan Upfit Services, doing business as Strobes R Us, and vehicle striping from Graphic Designs International for a total of $90,218.59. These purchases are in accordance with Sourcewell contract number 2020-120716 NAF and Broward County Sheriff's Office contract number 18006AG. This project is part of the city's capital improvement plan, CIP number 2234, and will be funded by impact fees. The purchase of these 2 Dodge Chargers will be for the sworn personnel assigned to the new body camera unit. In order to ensure that local vendors had an opportunity to participate in this purchase, the Procurement Division issued a request for information to local vendors, and no responses were received.
Thank you. Now, I clarify, are these for new officers or the 2 people that we had to designate as those being the inside people to officers to run the program?
These are for the 2, correct me if I'm wrong, PD, these are for the 2 officers assigned to the body camera program, correct?
That is correct. It's for the 2 sworn personnel that's in those positions.
Okay, well, I guess I read this earlier as perhaps for, 2 new officers and picked up on that this was for those who are basically in-house running and overseeing the program. I guess my question would be, is it necessary to have a patrol vehicle that's maxed out as if it were on the streets every day for those who are generally assigned to the station house?
Mayor, we did have this discussion with the police department, and contractually the officers do get a take-home vehicle, and also these officers may be assigned to a special event and or an off-duty job, so that's why they have the vehicles.
All right, and then the other question I had, and following Councilman Fletcher's lead on some other bells and whistles on other vehicles we bought, I note that there's an additional charge in excess of $4,000 per vehicle for an extended warranty. Is that something we do? Is it necessary for these 2, given that they don't have the kind of wear and tear that that a vehicle on the road every day would have?
Mayor, yeah, the city's strategy is usually to get the extended warranty due to our capacity at Fleet to handle the large volume of vehicles, so it helps us out. So if we have an issue with the vehicle, we can immediately send it out to the local dealership to get the vehicles repaired as quickly as possible.
It struck me as, and again, that number would not shock me if it were one that were out being used as a patrol car out on a shift every day. But given that, by and large, other than people coming to work and going home, barring those other circumstances, they're mostly in the parking lot. That was just, following some of the bells and whistles on some of the other vehicles we've bought recently that we've taken a look at. I wanted to raise that issue. All right, thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this matter?
None online, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. No one in the audience? I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to place this item on the council agenda, car number 3128, CIP number 2234. Motion by Councilman Alva,
I'll second it.
second by Councilman Roth. Any further from council? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next item, tab 8 for discussion, car number 3118, Leigh Hardin proposal. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an item for discussion based on the attached proposed term sheet from Les Jardins Community Center, Inc. to operate an early learning center in buildings 200 and 400 at the old YMCA site at Harris Field. If the council wishes to go forward with this use under the proposed and/or other terms, we would negotiate a lease and come back to council with that lease for the council's approval. And we're seeking direction as to how to go forward, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Council, your thoughts? Councilwoman Alva?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to see this item back, and I have expressed to City Manager's Office the terms that I'd like to see in the proposal or in the lease agreement. So I'm happy to proceed with this now, and I can make the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bailey? Nothing?
No, I feel the same way. I'm glad. I don't know as much as a lot of my colleagues up here as far as real estate's concerned, but compared to Washington Avenue, I think it's an incredibly fair price. And to have that income for the city with an amazing community partner, it's looking like a great win for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman, anything further?
Thank you, Mayor. There's a few things, if this is written as what we're going to vote on tonight, that concern me a little bit. The renewal periods of 1 year after the initial 5 years. If it were me negotiating a lease like this, I would, on one side, would rather have a longer period renewal term than 1 year, 1 year, 1 year after each year, after the first 5 years. The other thing that concerns me, and I do have to look out at the best interest of the city, is the price per square foot. It, to me, seems a little low based on what the market is. I'm okay with the price, but I just want to put it on the record. I feel it's a little bit low based on what the market is right now. It's probably more in the $16 to $18 square foot price range. When I did a check for real estate that's being advertised for rent in the commercial field, the lowest I could find that was available was $18 a square foot. And I think, let me see. These are just for purposes of conversation. I'm sure that when you guys come to an agreement and put together a lease, there were some things in the maintenance obligations that I thought may need to be honed in even closer than this. I'm sure a full-blown contract would probably have this stuff in it, but for whoever the user is and operator, would be for it to be very specific about anything within the confines of the walls of the leased space that they would be responsible for, which would also include, and not limited to, the HVAC system, which is noted on here, but electrical, plumbing, interior and exterior landscaping up against their building, interior walls, lighting, furnishings, equipment, and whatnot. And I'm sure that those items would be included in a fully structured lease. So just so there's no questions of who is responsible for maintaining what on the property. History should teach us some things. Is with the YMCA and their contract with us, it may have included these things, but they were never enforced. And since they've left this building, I'm sure you've gone in and discovered that there are many, many aspects of the building that are going to need some major renovation and taken care of that should have been that tenant's responsibility. So I'm happy that Eddie is here. I'm happy that Adalia is here. Forgive me for saying, you know, it's a little cheap on the lease, but it is what it is. And I'm happy, and I'm hoping that there will be a long-term relationship. And I really want to look at that renewal option. And I think we spoke about this also, Kate, that because of the type of business that is potentially going to be there with the school, that if for any reason they want to exit the property or we need them to leave the property, there has to be at least a minimum of a 365-day notice so their school doesn't get interrupted, their students don't get interrupted, and they can plan for the future as well as we can plan for the future too. I think that's going to be real important language inside the contract, that if we need it for whatever reason, you'll have at least a year to make plans to move on at any time. So I would just look at the extra renewal terms. I think 1 year, every year, having to come back and talk to us about negotiating the price and all that stuff might become cumbersome. I know there's going to be built-in increases automatically in the lease. Whether they refer to the renewals or not, I don't know, but you guys can work all that out. Those are my thoughts. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you again, Mr. Bronis, for being here today. Just a couple of quick questions, kind of housekeeping items, more that I see. So have we done an actual survey of the structure itself, and are there any structural issues that we are aware of at this point in time before we enter into a lease agreement?
Councilman, and I believe Pedro's on the line and can confirm this, the areas that are being contemplated here, we don't see any major concerns structurally. We don't know of any. I don't know that anybody's gone in there and done a very thorough review of that, but this part of the building is not in bad shape. And Pedro, if you want to add to that, please feel free.
Hey, Kate, Pedro here. You pretty much covered it. The roof of the building was redone after Hurricane Irma. So as far as the general structure, it is in good shape. We did a walkthrough with Le Jardin, so they did see the areas that they would be using. And they mainly just needed a good cleaning and some coats of paint. I think was in general the majority of the work to be done there.
Okay, Pedro, I appreciate that answer. You know, the only reason I asked the question is, you know, there is a caveat here in this letter, you know, that any structural components would be, you know, the responsibility of the city to make whole. So I want to make sure, you know, that we're identifying those ahead of time. I know Les Jardins is going to make a sizable investment in the building, but we need to make sure that we're covered and prepared for that as well, should something occur. I look forward to, you know, the school there at that location and, you know, to a fruitful relationship for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fletcher. Councilman Shelley?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The only, I guess, just for clarification, so for tonight it's just a term sheet. The idea is to get direction to staff to proceed with negotiation of a full lease. Is that correct, City Manager?
Yes, Councilman.
Okay. So I'm kind of with Councilman Roth in that I don't know, you know, I want to make sure that whatever the price per square foot is what the market rate is. So as long as staff does that analysis, so when they come back with the actual lease or the negotiation of that lease, that we had the fair market price or pretty close to the fair market price built into that. Otherwise, I'm supportive of you know, the proposal, you know, and moving in and getting somebody in that building. I still have the same position I did before, which is, you know, I think now would have been a good time to potentially see what the entire property could be utilized for. But I also understand, you know, the benefits of moving forward with somebody who already essentially has monies in hand and can come in and provide some sort of revenue stream to the city that we can utilize for other purposes or to reinvest back into the other portions of the building to provide community service or community outlets for people in that building once again. So given that, I'm okay with moving forward with the current term sheet. And I look forward to, what the full lease looks like whenever we see that.
Thank you, Councilman Shelley. Vice Mayor Fairclough-Staggers?
Yeah, thank you. I had the opportunity to have a conference with Mr. Baronis and Delia Martinez. It was very enlightening. I was able to ascertain the vision for that property and their long-term goals. So at this juncture, I support moving forward with them utilizing this space, along with Councilman Roth has suggested. I thank him for thinking about the children, and if there is a need for them to transition out of the site, that transition parameters are in place or safeguards in order to ensure that they don't have to leave within 30 days and completely disrupt the academic environment for the students. So I would love to see that transition period in there for 365 days. And I think with this, it also gives us the flexibility to move forward with this space in the event that, an offer comes up that we can't refuse. So at this point, I support moving forward with the term sheet and allowing them to access the space. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and to all of my colleagues for those comments. I do, I view this as, and I would agree that if the building were in ready-to-go condition, move-in condition, the price per square foot discussed is low. But I, want to recognize and acknowledge that our tenant is going to put a lot of capital and cosmetic effort into this building before the first child ever comes through the door. So, it's not, the value is not reflected in the monthly amount of rent, but in that, as well as what repairs and maintenance and cosmetics they're going to need to do up front. We're not really offering a turnkey operation. And then when I factor that in to their credibility, their history, and the service that they are, the much needed services that are needed in this community, I'm ready to go forward, and I look forward to seeing the most comprehensive lease. So is it the consensus of council to direct the manager and staff to go forward to negotiate the full lease generally upon these terms? Looks like you've got your direction.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. We will do so.
All right, thank you. Thanks for coming out tonight, Mr. Baronis and Ms. Martinez. You put a former politician in the council chamber, and from one side of the table or the other, they're going to talk.
No, that was a past life, not today. Well, we want to thank you for your all your comments and your support. We definitely will, in negotiation, we'll definitely discuss and address those concerns. We heard you last time, and as I shared with some of you, we're willing to do and work with you guys. We look at this as a partnership, and you're right, Councilman Roth, it is a little low, but we're also bringing in $31 million into this community over the next 5 years. And we're creating 125 new jobs from management level, executive level, all the way down to frontline people. So that has a value, Aside from that, we're providing a service at no cost to the families that qualify for a program. Now, I had a very interesting conversation about Amazon's coming. A lot of our parents work at venues like Amazon, work Home Depot, work at Walmart, and they're trying their best to move forward, and they need somewhere safe and nurturing and clean to leave their children. So that brings the value. Yes, it is a little low, and yes, this is federal government money. It's taxpayers' money, because we competed. We went out for competition. We competed. We were the only program in the state of Florida that got funded. We beat 362 other agencies like ours throughout the United States. So there was only 62, and we were the only one in Florida that got funded because we submitted a very good proposal and we've been very good stewards of taxpayers' money. And I learned that, Mr. Mayor, when I served with you, Sean, when I served with you, I learned that it affects all of us in the pocket. Anything that happens, the taxpayers end up picking up the slack. We saw an opportunity. We tried to work with the former tenant. It just didn't work out. We had the money at that time. As you guys know, the proposal came to you guys. We were investing $3 million into the capital project, for a capital project to go in there, because we felt very strongly that we would be great providers, and we would be good partners, and we could make a prime staple building that's been there for a long time that needed a lot of care, it needed a lot of attention. That was, you come into the city and that's the first thing you see, and it doesn't reflect well on all of us that live in this community. So it didn't work out, but we're here today and we will negotiate in good faith. I started lower. Kate said, no, you got to come up. But again, I look at a lot of different things. I'm okay with moving towards the fair market rate. Because clearly we're going to come in and improve the facility. We're going to make a lot of improvements and just, you've seen some of our other buildings, so you know what we were able to do. So we'll work in good faith and negotiate with you guys, and come up with a lease that's fair to the taxpayers of the city, because at the end of the day, that's who picks up the tab. And I know the history. And we're creating a revenue stream. We're not paying $1 a year, and we're not asking for money. So, but I thank your support, and we look forward to working with you guys and improving, and and I know there was a concern about what to do with the facility and should we go out to market. I think you should, and put it out there to see what can be done with that facility. But rest assured that if you do put it out for bid, we will be also bidding on that facility. So either way, we're gonna do our best to have a presence there. So I look forward to the partnership, and I look forward to working with staff. They've been very gracious, and thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baronis. Appreciate it.
Anybody have questions? No? Good? All right, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good evening.
All right. Last item. Car number 3142, static jet display. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have more information from when we last spoke about this. The Military Affairs Council has advised staff that they're able to make arrangements to have the F-4 Phantom jet, currently located at US 1, from that location to the Homestead Air Force Base for painting and restriping, and then to have it moved back. The city would be responsible for providing a police escort for the transport. We also contacted the National Museum of the United States Air Force to inquire specifically about an F-100 jet. There were none available, but they advised that there are currently some T-33 jets available, and by the end of the year, there may be some T-38 jets. If, in the event the city does want to seek another jet, we would be required to submit an official letter of request, and it would be best if we knew what jet we were requesting. We did get, the estimates seem very high, $40,000 to $60,000 for a new base, either to move the current jet and or for a new jet. So that is pretty high. We don't have funds identified for that right now, but at this point we are seeking advice and direction from the council as to what to do with the current jet, and also how to proceed with going with a new jet.
Thank you. Council?
And, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, if I may mention one more thing. it's not in the item, but I learned that if the council decides to move the current jet, it probably couldn't be done until the end of this year. So it couldn't be accommodated by the base till the end of this year. And if it does go at the end of the year, it could take several months for the work to be done.
Thank you. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. So for the record, the memo in the item says Military Affairs Committee, but it is council, correct?
Yeah, our apologies. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I say we take them up on their offer to refurbish the jet in place, or take care of that refurbishing, and then we take the T-33 that's available now. Why wait? And then I am familiar with some foundations that may be able to help us with the funding for the platform. So at least let's give city manager the direction to start getting more details about the T-33. Let's get the other plane painted and ready for that, and we'll continue to discuss how we're going to fund the platform.
Thank you. Council? Council Fletcher?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor and fellow council members. I agree we need to move forward with the painting of and refurbishment of the current jet that we have. I think we can look to the police department to maybe look at using reserve police officers to perform this, at a lower cost, so we're not paying overtime, things of that nature for that activity. I do have some questions regard to the T-33 jet. It's not a jet that I grew up watching coming in out of Homestead, Florida. I'm used to the F-4s, I'm used to the F-16s, the larger jets. We didn't see a whole lot of T-33s flying around back when I was a kid. So, a jet's nice to have, but, is it something that's representative of what we've seen here in the community? Just something to think of. I'm willing to move forward, as the rest of my colleagues are, but let's look at what options are out there available to us and, for the lowest possible price possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, and in full disclosure, we had looked for the Series 100 because when I was online with a updated presentation with the base a few weeks ago on their AQ study, had a little history there, and I guess in the early to mid 60s, the 100s were what were stationed here because I don't think we can fit a B-52 anywhere. So, you're right. What's historically appropriate would be the F-4, F-15, F-16, or the 100. And I like that sentiment. But I agree. I think we need to commit to provide the logistics to help get the F-4 out to the base and back after its refurbishment, and then get further details on what else may be available, if any, that's more historically appropriate, and figure out how those costs can be underwritten by others, whether it be foundations or local philanthropy. And, I think we started this conversation by my observation that, the F-4 is not really in a spot that lends itself to selfies or Instagrams or to get out and look at the plaque. Kind of blends into the background to some extent. And let's be very candid. It's my understanding that the Military Affairs Council does not support the relocation of the F-4 following its refurbishment. So wouldn't be really dealing in good faith by us to have them do that and have someone incur those costs and then pull the rug out and have it relocated. But the conversations that the manager and I have had are perhaps that, we're going to have a lot of lead time and time to deal with it, that when the F-4 is removed to be refurbished, that we look at doing more appropriate landscaping that doesn't swallow the jet and that showcases it and doesn't interfere with the view, that's probably more appropriate and more low maintenance and easier to keep clean around the bottom. So I think that's where we need to go. So unless I misspeak, I think the direction is let's see what it's going to take to get a second jet, and on another night or series of nights, we'll have a conversation about where to park it.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We'll get it done.
I have one thing.
Councilman Roth.
I just wanted to say that this is National Public Safety Telecommunicating Week. And I'm a big fan, not only of the police department, but of our dispatchers. And the dispatchers, I just wanted to give them a shout out. They do a great job. I listen to them all the time. You should listen to how these guys perform. And, you know, they're responsible for protecting our officers. They're responsible for protecting the citizens of the city. And I just wanted to give them a shout out, say they do a great job. And thank you for everything you guys do to keep our city and our officers safe. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Mayor.
Councilman.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
If I
Councilman
could,
Fletcher.
go ahead if you want to, and then I just wanted to jump on Mr. Ross' comment there. I can tell you firsthand, you know, the dispatchers go unnoticed a lot of the time. And 9 days, I'm going to go back to a little story. 9 days after I got sworn in back in 2004, I walk in on a robbery in progress. And lo and behold, I forget the address of where I'm at. You know, and instead of using 167 Avenue or Tennessee, I used Bronco Boulevard. And the dispatcher immediately said, Southeast 167 Avenue, you know, and that was probably the longest minute of my life waiting for backup to come to that robbery in progress. But I'll tell you, those guys perform a service to this community that definitely needs to be heralded. And I appreciate the service that they do provide us. That's all. Thank you.
Councilwoman?
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everyone to take a look at City Hall this week. It'll be purple, I think, on the 15th or the 16th.
It's the 15th, right? 15th, yes.
Thank you, colleagues and City Manager, for setting that up. Thank you. You got the purple film?
We got purple. Yes, ma'am.
And the purple is representative this time of?
Military child, in remembrance of the military child.
And is April 15th, other than Old Tax Day, going to have any significance for this building? Or we're not ready to talk about that yet? We're going to reopen?
We're looking at May 1st, Mayor, and in the beginning, and then fully by the close of the school year.
Okay, so target's May 1 now.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. I was thinking we were talking April 15th at some point. Okay. Very good. There's nothing further. Do we have a motion to
Mr.
adjourn?
Mayor, I'm
Moved
sorry.
and seconded.
I hate to do it, but I have to request an executive session so we can squeeze this in soon. It's in the matter of the United States of America v. City of Homestead, case number 2020-258, AP01. Thank you.
Is it going to be too lengthy to do before the council meeting?
No, I'll work with the clerk to see if we can squeeze it in if everybody's available.
Good, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.